What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Train, as usual. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And as you can see, we got my guy Nick on the screen. Nick, how's everything with you, man?
I'm all right. Just surviving and thriving.
I feel that. Hey, that sounds, well, I was about to say it sounds similar to your Bulls, but that might have been a little bull itself. But no, I mean, that's good to hear that at least you surviving and striving and maintaining too, though. But ladies and gentlemen, as y'all can see, this is Get a Bucket. You know what I'm saying? Nick has been on the show before, so we're not gonna go too much about the details about what's going on in his day to day. Now that we might do that another time because you came on last time. We asked you a couple questions, but now we're gonna get straight on to the thick of things. You know what I'm saying? Because I talked about your Bulls. They at the bottom now. They not at the top. They might not be going to that playoff, brother. So we got to be talking about not the playoffs, but that lottery pick. That's right. Who NBA top draft pick preference, right? Now, y'all might not be at the bottom of the barrel exactly, but I mean, you could be kind of relatively close. So I told you last time I don't know what y'all doing. I don't like maybe you want to maybe y'all so y'all signed Boosie for what 3 years, 33 mil off top of my head. I don't know why unless you want to trade them, but I don't know too what type of value you gonna get. And then they're talking about trading Zach Lavine, and at that point in time, you got to assume they're gonna flip DeMar DeRozan. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But for the number one pick, let's talk about a world where the Bulls get the number one pick this year, right? Is there anybody in particular that you would want to get? And first, before we do that, let's just show you exactly where your boys are actually ranked. Because I mean, you're not, like I said, not at the bottom of the barrel, but you're kind of close. So you got here, we got the Pistons, the Spurs, the Wizards, the Blazers, the Grizzlies, the Hornets, the Jazz, then y'all. You know what I mean? So you got a couple teams ahead of you in the lottery. But you could slip. You could slip. I don't expect it to, but you might want to too and start building up your team. And with that being said, I do have here a 2024 mock draft. So, we got Cody Williams, Alexander Sarr, Zachariah Sarich, Jacoby Walter, and Isaiah Collier as your top fives. Like, is there anybody on this list or maybe somebody else that you would particularly want on your team?
Yeah, so I'm preparing for the inevitability of us getting the 7th pick, as we always do. We got, we pick a couple times at number 7 or around that. But if we somehow by some miracle get the number 1 pick, I think the best option, is Alexander Sarr. Now, if I had to take a second guy, I would probably go for Ron Holland and just try to hit a home run with Holland. He's probably got the highest ceiling of anybody in this draft not named Alexander Sarr if we're looking for a wing and we're looking for both ceiling and fit. But Sarr, I mean, stop me if you've heard this before. Long, athletic French center with upside with skill and defensive immediacy. Like, this is essentially the sequel to Wemby. He's not quite as good. He doesn't have the show of skill quite yet. He doesn't have the fluidity. Although he's a darn fluid player for a 7'1" guy. He's, not obviously doesn't have an 8-foot wingspan, isn't 7'4", he's 7'1". But
right.
A little bit of a diet Wemby in that sort of that mold. I see a lot of comparisons.
Alexander Sarr is a diet Wemby.
Well, a lot of comparisons to Evan Mobley. I just mean like in terms of what's attractive about him.
Okay. So you feel like so let me ask you this thing, because you said Evan Mobley. I'm glad you said an NBA comparison. I saw a little bit of Sarr's game. I didn't see Wemby. If you say Evan Mobley, he might be a little stockier Evan Mobley in terms of how he finishes out. Like, I think his frame might allow him to add on a little bit more muscle. Maybe he has a little bit more athleticism, skill factor. I got to see. Would Evan Mobley in that regard be worth the number 1 pick to you? Because some people have been questioning him right now as a talent, and they say he's cool. But when we think number one pick, we're thinking the guy, right? Like you look at Kyrie Irving, he was still the guy. I mean, he's still viewed as a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony Edwards, the guy. Like the number one pick is usually the guy. So is Alexander Sarr? Is that Evan Mobley a number one pick to you?
When we talk about when we see these comparisons, I've also seen Jaren Jackson Jr. for example. We talk about just the stylistic or strengths and weaknesses, not necessarily what their ceiling is. I can sort of see Alexander Sarr being sort of what we imagined Ayton could be. Maybe not the fantastical sort of like Adonis sculpted, like athleticism that Ayton had, but you could see Alexander Sarr at some point become a dominant defensive player and sort of a great defensive number one, offensive number two type of player who can sort of attack different weaknesses, different looks that the defense gives them.
That sounds like Anthony Davis right now. So
yeah, it's a lot of similarities between Anthony Davis and Alexander Sarr.
So you want, just for clarification, so you want, if your team has the number one pick, you want to go for a big. That's what I'm hearing. Is that the case going forward? Like, even if y'all don't get a number one pick, right? Let's say you get a top 5 or a top 10, you still want your team to go for a big, or is that just whoever's best available at that point?
Yeah, when you go for number one, you got to try to get the guy you think is going to be a star. And it's Sarr and Holland. I think those two are the best, like, star ability. This is a pretty weak draft, all things considered, in terms of potential. I don't see a lot of other potential superstars so far in my evaluation of this draft. There's a couple guys. Collier could potentially be a star.
I was going to ask what you thought about Collier because ESPN actually has him. I'll share this screen. ESPN. Oops. I wasn't sharing it on here. That's what you guys see. So it's tough being host and moderator and everything else, daggone. But now, so up here, you see we got here Isaiah Collier, number one, which I did not know this man was 6'5" at the time. I thought at like McDonald's All-American, he was like 6'1", 6'2", or something like that. So 6'5" with what some people are trying to say he's supposed to be what Scoot Henderson was supposed to be, which I think that could be a lie. I think we, maybe a little premature on Scoot slander, but I got to put a little bit more eyes on Isaiah Collier. But at 6'5", that the NBA is trending towards big guards, and I did see him have a good defensive tenacity. Offensively, I got to put more eyes on to see how skilled he is. But from a playmaking standpoint and the skill perspective, I got to look more. But he looked NBA ready physically, so I don't know. I gotta see what he looks like. They got your boy Sarr at number 2, Zachariah is number 3, Walters at 4, and then your boy Holland's at 5. It's crazy because mock draft had that man at like number 14, which I remember Holland was number 1 at one point in time too. So those could be interesting. I do want to give a shout out to my Blue Devils. I did see them on the list a couple times. Let me see. Oh, Klingen's number 6. That's crazy. There will be a couple of decent bigs, or at least some bigs, like Klingen, 7'2" for UConn. I'm curious about how he's going to pan out, honestly. I'd be curious to see what he looks like going forward.
He's going to give great rim protection. Like, Klingen's going to give.
Do I, though? Because, like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not overly sold. Like, I think because in college, he's cool. But when you get to the pros, yes, you're 7'2", so you can rim protect. There's going to be more athletic, stronger players, taller players in the NBA on a more consistent basis. So you're not going to be as much of a X factor or unicorn. You're not going to be as unique as you are in the NBA as you are in college. So like Kyle Filipowski, I think he needs to be a daggone power forward. He can play center, but to me, needs to play power forward because that's where he's best slated at. So, but
Absolutely.
Again, he can play center. So, I think over time, once he adds on a little bit of muscle, maybe like Walker Kessler. Walker added some more muscle to his frame. So, Klingen's a lot skinnier than Walker in comparison to me. So, we don't have anybody from Duke outside of Filipowski on this team.
Not right now. Like Proctor.
Yeah, he slipped badly. He was number 13 at one point. He was actually in the top 10 at one point in time. That's crazy. DJ,
yeah, I thought some put him in top 5 potentially. DJ is another guy who's been like sliding down like a mug.
Yeah, it's interesting. I got to put some more eyes on DJ. I haven't really watched Kentucky this season, so I got to watch them though. But like I said, long story short, it sounds like you want a big. That's interesting. Like I said, based on ESPN, I mean, your man's is up there. Both actually your people were in the top 5. So that's
right.
I want to see more. I want to see a little bit more out of Collier from a, like I said, offensive perspective. But with that being said, Nick, let's go ahead and transition to the next topic, my boy, which is not the Bulls, by the way, just for clarification. It's OKC, actually. These boys can actually boast, Nick, the MVP, the DPOY, possibly win you a championship and the Rookie of the Year. What's the odds they can get all 4 of those? Or at least these 4. Like, let's start with the MVP award, okay? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Do you believe he's going to win that MVP award, or do you think someone else is going to get it? Because right now, you can say Anthony Edwards is the number 1 MVP race, right? Because if you go off the standard of best player on best team, then you can say, well, you know what? Anthony Edwards is there because the Timberwolves, surprisingly, are the number 1 team in the entire league. Actually, yeah, let's make this league-wise. And then, got it. It's tough being everybody. Then you got here, let's see, who else I say? So we got Ant, JT on the Celtics, Giannis on the Bucks. The Magic is actually kind of surprising. Maybe Paolo can be MVP discussion. Maybe we need to talk about it. But Shai's right there. You know what I'm saying? The Thunder are right here. What's your odds for Shai winning MVP?
I mean, I think right now we still have the 3 main ones that I think are going to end up with it at the end of the day. It's between Embiid and
Giannis. I don't know. Because so hear me out. Giannis has Dame. Embiid, I can hear you on, but he also has Maxey, who's averaging almost 30. And then Jokic has his championship squad. So because of that, and the narrative being, well, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and company because they're young, but Shai's the only person on this team right now that can actually make some noise. Like, how you feeling?
So, like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I've been a fan of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ever since his rookie year. Right. I wasn't quite the earliest on the bandwagon. I know, for example, the Ringers, J. Kyle Mann was like big on him coming out of Kentucky. I was a year later, but he showed in the World Cup he could get a bucket against anybody. Like, he could carry teams, and it seems like he's carrying over that momentum from last year in the World Cup into this year. He's been playing excellently. NBA.com has him 3rd on the MVP ladder, above Luka and above Giannis. But it's tough to make the argument for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over someone like Joel Embiid, just because Joel's averaging more, points, assists, and rebounds. And I think the 76ers have a better record. I think I'd have to check, but
they do because I'm sorry, they don't. They're actually tied. They're actually tied.
Same record? Okay.
Yeah, but OKC is technically listed ahead of the 76ers in the listing. So yeah,
I see, because of seeding.
Yeah, because right here. So like I said, they're technically ahead of the 76ers, but they got a tied record.
Yeah, so I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think he does have, it's still an outside shot for a number of reasons, but I still think he's going to be perennially top 5 MVP votes for the next few years. And that's nothing to sneeze at. Okay. I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's just it's some good players.
So it sounds like a little hesitation this year on MVP. You got to battle the usual suspects for you. So for MVP, then it sounds like OKC might lose that one. How about DPOY then? Because Chet Holmgren been playing pretty well. I know people was talking about Vic and them, you know what I'm saying? But maybe Chet has a chance to win when DPOY? What's your thoughts on that?
In the future, absolutely. I think it's a definite possibility. He's averaging 3.4 stocks this year. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, and that's an understatement. Yeah, I don't think it's so crazy to believe that Chet Holmgren could win a Defensive Player of the Year this year in his rookie year. I don't remember how many times it's ever been done before that somebody's won Defensive Player of the Year in their rookie year. I don't know if it's ever been done, but yeah, I wouldn't blink at the idea. I think that's something that could definitely happen, and I would be shocked if he wasn't in contention, very close contention for one and at some point in his career. He's got very high defensive ceiling.
So 2.4 blocks, 1 steal. If he increases these rebounds to like 9, 10, I mean, we've seen people get DPOYs with that before. He's also bringing in 17 points a game, 3 assists. That's not too bad. Also, to answer your point, no rookie nor teenager for that matter has actually won DPOY. So he would be, well, he's 21, so it wouldn't matter. He'd be the first rookie. Although if you want to say he shouldn't be a rookie because he got drafted last year, I hear that too. But I think you could have a shot with DPOY. I agree. I just don't know if it's this season also. Because when you look at someone like Victor Wembanyama, he is higher than him. You also got, I think Rudy Gobert could actually make a nice little run for DPOY this year just because of where the Wolves are situated. If they're still at the top, he could be viewed as that interior presence again. He's looking a little bit more energized. So you can also throw someone like Bam. Well, let me check and see where the actual Heat are. They're not too far off. And Bam is going to be that juggernaut in terms of the rebounding and the interior presence. So for someone like Bam, I think you could sneak in with a DPOY. I don't think Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to do it. Giannis, even if he gets his act together, you got a shot at being DPOY, who was also my prediction this year. Hopefully you shape it up. But, I do agree with you. For at least for the next couple seasons, you'll hear Shea, you'll hear Chet in these two slots here. So I guess with that being said, let's go to the Rookie of the Year. What's your odds for Chet on Rookie of the Year?
I think he's the front runner right now, just because Chet's got the better supporting cast. Wemby, they're sort of. I think what Popovich is doing by Wemby is correct, but I don't think it's also tactics that are not going to be beneficial to any Rookie of the Year campaign. They're playing him at power forward. They're playing Jeremy Sochan at point guard.
That's not bad. That's not bad though. I don't mind that. I actually like Sochan at the point guard spot. I like Sochan at the point guard spot. Because you got to think too, he's 6'8". So for someone like Wemby there means Sochan never has to rely on a jump shot because Wemby can play out. And then with Sochan in the paint, he's your point guard at 6'8". Everyone else is 6'5" and above. So that means you're going to get the rebound advantage from every position here on out. To me, I like what the Spurs are doing. And if we actually look at, so let's go back to Chet, right? So you see here, Chet is bringing in, like I said, 17, 8, 3. You also got 2.4 blocks, 1 steal. Well, again, it's called Rookie of the Year award. So Vic is bringing in 19. I said if Chet can get to 9 to 10 rebounds, Vic is doing that. Same amount of assists. And then on the defensive end, we're getting more blocks and more steals, although a little bit more, 2.4 to 2.6, and then 1.3 to 1. It's still favoring Wemby. So if I'm going Rookie of the Year, yes, and I did say this in my videos earlier, Chet's case will be because his team goes further. But yeah, I actually think Chet does, in fact, win Rookie of the Year. But I also think Wemby does as well. That's right. I'm calling co-Rookie of the Years because OKC is number 2. And it's not like Chet's not a key call. Like you can make a strong case right now that Chet is number 2 on his team. So because of that, I'm like, you know what? I gotta Yeah, bro. I gotta make it co-NBA or co-rookie of the years. Like both of them are showing up to do their job. So that's that's where I land with that. But it sounds like we won out of 3 right now with OKC on these awards. Is that accurate?
Well, yeah, but that's not. Listen, if you got an MVP candidate, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, or future Defensive Player of the Year candidate, the Rookie of the Year, and a guy like Jalen Williams, who's also balling out. I wouldn't be mad. that's
So
future contender right there.
Well, so my question is this for this season, because they have a MVP candidate, they have a DPOY candidate, they have a Rookie of the Year candidate, they have a couple of X factors, they have a whole bunch of stuff on their squad. Can they win a chip this year for you?
No.
There's
just too many great teams out there. Like,
hold on. So they got arguably the best scorer in the game. I said arguably, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They got a top tier. Well, they got a young top tier, big, some versatile players who can get you a whole bunch of buckets or assists or rebounds or play good defense. They got spacing on the floor. There's no shot in the world that they can win the championship for you. And again, they are the 2 seed currently, at least in today's standings.
I think at this point, though, a couple of years ago, the Magic were the number 1 seed. And then I think that was the year it was the year before they were bad enough to get Venture. I think it was like 2018 or something like that. But it's early enough, essentially. It's early enough that I think we should hold out on any parades in Oklahoma City. Although, still keep it in the back of your mind. This year, I don't think there's any chance because this is a young team still trying to figure it all out.
Right.
And also and then there's some other people who need to figure it out, if you know what I mean. Like, get their stuff together. And I don't want to say stuff. But the future is bright in Oklahoma City. But not for this year. They've got, I think their entire team, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 25, and he's definitively the oldest guy in their starting lineup and in their top 7.
But again, man, they're number 5 right now, so it's not like they ain't doing some things. And if they hold this spot come the end of the season, they've been to the playoffs before, at least playing. Like they've made some things shape. And I don't see them being scared of anybody. So they could win against a team. And I don't know if they're energetic enough and good enough to where they could cause a problem for quite a few teams. But I also do agree with you.
When I picture the Thunder this year, I could definitely imagine them being the 6th seed and upsetting a 3 seed this year. Like I could definitely see that possibility. But once you get to the second round, I think you're going to start to see so many great teams. Like the Nuggets when Jamal Murray is healthy. That's a juggernaut. If Jokic sees Chet Holmgren, who's still trying to bulk up, listen, that's
going to be a problem. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. But I'm going to say this too. And I understand that Shai ended up playing against the Nuggets and them, and Jamal Murray got the better of Shai. Like Shai scored like 7 points or something. It was quite disgusting. I don't think that's going to happen consistently. So I do expect the Nuggets to win that series. Again, I don't think the Thunder win the championship this year. I actually believe more in the Wolves than I do in the Thunder right now, just because of like a timing perspective. But
yeah,
I'm not going to sleep on this Thunder team too. They can beat any team in the West. Like I definitively think that in a series, I think we're at the level, we're at the point in time. I'm still hesitant to say it, bro. Like that we're there where they can beat any team, but they are really close. So, but yeah, I mean,
if you were to invest in any team in any franchise for the next 5 years, I don't know of anybody better than the Thunder. You know what I mean? Just
maybe the Spurs, maybe, but I think OKC.
If Wemby is who I think he's going to be.
That's what it was based off of. So, but okay, or possibly the Celtics, but again, we'll see because they got 2
stars.
That's a
high sell.
I mean, I don't know because I feel like they're going to be consistent over the next 5 years. But we'll see. We'll see. I tell you what, I know for a fact you about to get a nice view of the Celtics because, well, your Bulls is in the East. That's right. We're gonna flip it back to your Bulls, man. You know what I'm talking about? And Zach Lavine's been in the trade discussion. So give me one team from the East and the West you would want to trade Zach to. Like, and I just want names. We'll get reasons in a second.
In the East, people I want to trade to. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like
I can give you some pretty good answers of who not to, but but who to trade with?
Yeah,
I guess in the East, I think it's got to be Toronto, right? Like they've got probably the best, like in terms of like assets that could be traded that they might want to trade.
Okay, we got Toronto. Okay, so
Toronto
then
in the East,
who from the West?
and
from
West. There's no way they're gonna trade Wemby. Now, you know, probably
He said Wemby.
Listen. I can dream, okay, in my delusions, but no. Probably if probably you could say the Thunder. Like there are a couple, not honestly anybody from the starting lineup for the Thunder, but there are some pieces in the back, you know, or some draft picks essentially that I think the Thunder have some pretty good cap flexibility. So
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Swing a trade where we get a bunch of futures for him, essentially. Not any like rising superstar like Jalen. We're not getting Jalen Williams, obviously, but I'm not talking about anything like that. But they have a whole cache of first round picks. They're going to run out of roster spots. They got to use them eventually.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Raptors first. So you said the Raptors trading for Zach Lavine. I'm trying to think with the Raptors, right? Who would you actually be getting back? Because you got to think Zach Lavine is y'all's star. And respectfully, when I look at this team, I don't see anybody on the squad that gets the job done for you that makes it a fair trade. Like who are you going to get? Pascal? I don't think they trade Pascal.
No,
you're not getting Scotty. You're not getting Scotty. Picks. I don't know about that. Like if I'm the Bulls, I would not look at this team personally. Just because again, when I'm looking at this squad, it's like if it's not Scotty Barnes, I don't want it. Because with Pascal, you're telling me you think you can win with Vucevic, Siakam, and DeRozan.
No,
I don't
quite believe about winning.
Yeah, like I mean, you might be able to try to sell me on the playmaking of Siakam. Maybe you think he can play help side or something like that. I just don't believe it. Now,
no, it wouldn't be about winning if we traded into the Raptors. It would be about them trying to make it work, their current core work, and us getting futures in return while we start a rebuild.
See, I don't even know. I don't even know who they picks are. Like, if I'm you guys, I think that OKC trade could be worth something, right? Because when you have, all right, so we're here now, right? OKC, you're not getting Shea. That's just off top. You're not getting Chet. You could get, for Zach Lavine, an all-star who is still relatively young, like he's in his prime, if I'm not mistaken. You could give up Jalen Williams. You could finesse Jalen Williams. I'm looking for a star back. They also have enough picks to say, you know what? Maybe we'll give you Josh Giddey.
No, we don't want him. Get him away. No. Keep the Chicago youth safe. They've gone through enough.
Hey, look, because I haven't read like any detailed reports. Right, I'm not a police officer. I'm not in the database or nothing like that. But I was told, which again, it's a tricky situation. He ain't been found guilty yet. So I mean, maybe if he gets exonerated, if he's found innocent.
Listen, Karl Malone never faced charges.
You take it. Oh my God, he's so that's tough. So no Giddey then. So it's got to be Jalen Williams. So you got to go Jalen Williams and some picks.
Like it could.
Who would it be? Like who on this team could you get? Like I like Cason Wallace. They just drafted him, big young guard. I don't think that's who you go for. Like,
no,
and
no,
then
that's because
yeah,
if you pick a guy,
y'all
you're
gotta
not
get
going to trade him.
you gotta get a star back for for Zach Lavine. And for me, the only person is either Jalen Williams or Josh Giddey because they're not giving up Chet Holmgren and they're not giving up Shea.
You're
So
not getting a star back for Zach Lavine because it's already very clear that it's coming to an end. So we don't have any leverage. What we need to get is futures. You're not getting star for star trades almost never happen. So
I wouldn't even say Zach Lavine for Jalen Williams is an exact one-to-one mapping. I just think it's
not
the
at
best
all.
offer
Jalen
you
Williams
got.
is too valuable to give up for the Thunder. Like
I
can.
I agree. I agree. He's very valuable to give up for the Thunder. But again, for someone like Zach Lavine, if you feel like that's the team, the person, the piece you need to get your team in contention, and again, if you're bringing someone like him in now, I'm thinking you're going to win that team or this title. So that means you have to make that sacrifice. And Jalen Williams is going to have to be that piece because you just said hell no to Josh Giddey, which again, I think Josh Giddey would have been the most ideal situation for the Thunder because you have Shea who can run the one. You got the Lavine at the 2, and then you have Jalen Williams at your 3. So if I'm the Thunder, I might try to package that deal
up.
up.
On the
but
court, that would be great for both sides.
I think it works out for Giddey, but y'all also going to get back a whole bunch of picks as well. So maybe next season, y'all could get a couple of good players or maybe flip those picks for a top pick or a higher pick or whatever the case may be. So I'm just saying that Raptors one seemed a little bit interesting. This Thunders one, you know what I'm saying? It's got to be Jalen Williams or Josh Giddey, and you had some reservations on Josh Giddey, which I understand you're not too giddy about Giddey, but you might have to giddy up with him.
I would be ecstatic. I would be jumping out of my seat in joy, but there's no shot the Thunder are going to get that.
Oh, you said you can get who back? Jalen?
Yeah, if we get Jalen Williams back, I will be jumping. I'll start a parade. For Acme. But there's no shot the Thunder are going to give him up. What I'm saying is, if we're trading Zach Lavine, we're starting a rebuild. And if you're starting to rebuild,
you can give up Patrick Williams, and you can get back.
Sure.
So then you can get back younger players from the Thunder.
Be gone. Yeah.
So then I'm trading Zach Lavine and Patrick Williams over there for Jalen Williams and some young pieces plus picks.
Yeah, and if we can't get Jalen Williams, if they don't want to budge, we just take essentially whatever's it's gonna take this match salary and some cash of picks, 1 or 2 first round picks, like high value first round picks.
I ain't gonna hold. I'm gonna try to see what else I can finesse. Hell, I might try to see if Desmond Bane's available for the Grizzlies. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's just me. But you know what I mean? What I do.
You can fire up the trade machine all day.
Yeah. I was about to say that. I was just realizing like that was gonna go a little long. So I do want to stay on the Bulls. Real quick. What NBA players do you not want to play against? Which it could be a lot. So I just want 5 names because again, y'all not that good this year.
If the Bulls don't want to play against?
Yeah, like not teams, NBA players specific.
So Grayson Allen.
That is, hey, yo, get.
Because like you better get the stretcher ready. Like when you're playing Grayson Allen, like be careful. And in a similar note, Draymond. Sorry, Draymond. Like you're a little too wild this year. And on an actual on the court like note, Giannis always like gets seemingly 50 points against us every time we put, which we don't have anybody to guard him. Like
I'm not saying that's understandable. Okay.
That's happens. And for the other two, I feel like also I hate to go just full like MVP here, like ladder, but Embiid also just kills us every time we play Embiid. Okay. And I think Curry also like kills us every time we play him too. Although we only get him twice, so we're safe most of the year, mostly. But yeah.
So I just want to make sure I recap. So you got Curry, Embiid, Giannis, and then you said Jokic, right?
No, I said Grayson Allen and Draymond.
Draymond and Grayson Allen. So okay, okay.
Because you don't want to. We don't want to get injured out here.
I swear I dozed off and I was dreaming, and I thought you had said Jokic, but okay, no, I thought you. I mean, I thought you had said Draymond Green.
Because I don't know if Debo still wants to have kids, so we should keep Draymond Green away from him.
So like one, because Grayson don't be tripping, folks. He's good. He's chill. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't got to put Grayson up there.
Yeah,
Draymond. He's oh my gosh, bro. Like y'all gotta let it go, man. Like
never. We were number one in the East when that happened. Never.
Yeah. Look, y'all standing. Y'all ain't the only reason why y'all are really in this situation because Lonzo's not there. So he's not healthy. If that is the case, if he was playing, might be a different discussion.
For sure.
Yeah, it might be a much different discussion. So, but all right, so those five, that's crazy though. Grayson Allen made a top 5 list of players you don't want to play against. And I'm thinking from like a dominance perspective, but he makes the list this way. Okay, now that's cool. That's fine. That's dandy. So that's actually pretty funny. Actually, I wasn't expecting him. So then, and I like the way you were going with this one or that last question. So going on to the next topic then, Nick. I need something bold, right? I need a bold topic from you, bro. What's the NBA bold prediction from you this season?
Bold prediction.
What you got for me?
I think the Orlando Magic make the conference finals. That's my bold prediction. I'm not gonna Charles Barkley that. Like I'm not nearly that confident, but I think the Orlando Magic make the conference finals. We were talking about this in a previous show about how this team has so many good pieces. Paolo's taken another step. They really started to figure out sort of their defensive versus offensive lineups. Defensively, they're an absolute juggernaut. I think they're holding like the second best team after a miss rather. Defending the offense after an offensive miss, I think is like 99 or something like that allowed offensive rating or defensive rating, and I think the Magic have like a 92 defensive rating after they miss, which is incredible because I think the average is like 108 or 109. So it's something like that. Thinking Basketball had a video on it, and they are so many like standard deviations away defensively from everybody that that can carry into the playoffs. I don't want to say defense wins championships, but that defensive effort is really what separates you in the playoffs and can get you very, very far. And a lot of those, they run like 9 deep in terms of like impactful players, and they haven't even started playing Jonathan Isaac. So
they tried to play him. I thought he was injured a little bit too, though. I saw him get a little tick. Yeah, and I'm glad they're ramping him up slowly because he's been injured for quite some time, and that could be something that helps him out in the playoffs too. Because he is considered a vet, although again he's trying to get back into the swing of things. So maybe that's going to be a problem going forward. But we'll monitor that. Magic in the conference finals. I mean, obviously, when you're looking at the standings right now, the number 2, right? So obviously, it has some legs. I just don't know how long the legs are in the day because, again, this Magic team is young. And I like Paolo. Okay, I think he comes from good stock. I'm biased, I'm a Blue Devils fan. Obviously, he went to Duke. I don't think they got enough to get over the hump. I like the team that they have. It's a young squad. They look energetic. Jalen Suggs has been doing pretty well from a defensive standpoint because he's trying to earn his spot. Franz Wagner has been playing pretty well, especially carrying over from last year. I do like the team that Wendell Carter Jr., very solid center for them. Getting over teams like the Celtics, the Heat, maybe because they can out-rebound them. The Bucks, I don't think they stop Dame. It's interesting, but I don't think they stop Dame. Celtics, I don't think they beat in a 7-game series, although coincidentally, they're actually up, I think, over the last 6 games, maybe like 4-2, something like that. So I mean, I am kind of contradicting myself, but regular season is different than playoffs. I'm finding a hard time seeing the Magic into the conference finals. So that's definitely to me a hot take. Like if that happens, no. And I'm not even trying to like sway your opinion, bro. I'm just saying I'm trying to think about it. Like I'm optimistic as hell, Nick. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying, bro. And like I don't know, that's a tough one. So if they make it, hey, you might just need to get a job in the NBA. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Listen,
yeah, because
you wanted a bold take, and I was just like, let me throw this out there. What if I was a betting man? I wouldn't bet it, but don't be surprised. Yeah, don't be surprised. Because you're right. I would also take the Bucks and the Celtics and the Heat,
right?
In a 7-game series against those the Magic. But don't be surprised, because a deep team also means one injury doesn't kill you as much.
Yeah, no, it's true. That is very true. Actually, you gotta have options. Now, before we close up shop here, Nick, I gotta ask this. All right, bro. Your NBA's Finals wish list, not your predictions. Your wish list. Give me one NBA Finals situation that you want to see.
If I had to choose the finals, I would want a healthy Sixers versus a healthy Nuggets. I want to see Jokic versus Embiid battle. Like they've been the 2 best players for the past 3 years. I want to see those 2 old style big man battle, but with the new style skills. Like just battle it out. Murray versus Maxey, the length of the Nuggets and their passing ability versus the shot creation of the supporting cast of the Sixers. That would be, I think, a very interesting mini style matchup, we'll say. I think that would be my dream scenario.
See, everybody and their mama is saying Joel Embiid and the 76ers versus Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. So with that matchup, then, who do you want to win it?
Listen, fat white boys gotta stand up for each other. So I'll be going with the Nuggets. I gotta stand with my chubster, my chubby brother. I like Embiid. I like Maxey, but man.
In that scenario, I might want Embiid to win it. Because
no, I get it. Because
it's not even just for Embiid, right? 76ers. You got an international big. You have another Kentucky guard. You have here Tobias Harris, who is one of the best professionals in the NBA. 76ers have not won. Like, I think it would be the right time to make that a narrative where it's like, you know what? It shouldn't be each time he shows up. And also Kelly Oubre's injury, stuff like that. Him going from being injured, playing well initially too, mind you, to being injured. I think Kelly would be that Bruce Brown guy. Because remember, Bruce Brown went off in the playoffs, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think Kelly would be that because he was averaging 17, 18 points already. It's definitely in the teams above 15. So if we're doing that and he's playing defense as well, the way he was doing, that would be a nice heartfelt story too. So wrapping all that up and then factoring in the basketball aspect of it, I would love to see Joel Embiid and the 76ers in that scenario win against the Denver Nuggets. Because personally, I think the Denver Nuggets actually lost a little bit. They lost Jeff and them. You didn't replace them with anybody really. They cool, but that depth I think is going to affect the Nuggets personally. So I'd be curious. I'm watching out for that. But
Braun's been a little bit better this year than he was last year. He's been filling.
I mean, yeah, he's gotten a little bit. He's more confident. I'll give you that. He's producing a little bit better. But still, we're talking about what that 6? Well, you got 7 because Reggie. So, but who's going to replace Jeff Green? Because now you're telling me you're going to rely essentially on your starter replacing Jokic as your big man again. Which I don't know if that one trick pony gets the job done. It could work. I'd have to see it though. But I mean, the 76ers would actually be able to combat the Nuggets.
No, for sure. I think that series would go to 7, or at least I would hope it would go to 7.
That'd be nice to watch. Everybody and their mama really wants to see that series. So NBA, I know, there's people talking about script writings and fixing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all may want to make it shake.
Yeah, I don't believe in that kind of stuff, but if it does, hey, somebody get Scott Foster on the phone.
I cried. He said, "Get Scott Foster on the phone." Okay. I got to say this. One wish list for me. I'm not talking about too much, which is one wish list for me. I think I do want to see happen. Trying to get a good one. I've also said another one before. I want to get something different. There's a part of me that wants to say Lakers versus Celtics. But then I also want to go Lakers versus Bucks. Because I want to see Dame in the finals for the one time.
Yeah, for sure.
Then there was so much conversation about Giannis and AD and how Giannis be dominating AD all the time. Then you got the whole passing of the torch thing between Braun and Giannis. I think that generates we're talking about 2 potentially all-time greats going up against one another in the NBA Finals, and then 3 if you count, or 4 if you count Dame and AD. I think that generates a lot of tickets, and I don't think we get too many more of those moments as well. You can make the same case for Embiid because health-wise, luckily he's been injury-free. Hopefully we keep that train going. But Bucks versus Lakers, you know what I'm saying? Knock on wood. But like Bucks versus Lakers, I think that does get enough revenue right now. So that might be, I'd say, my finals wish list. And it's not because I'm a Laker fan too. I think it would be decent to see for the game of basketball. So, but again, I would say your wish list is the one that I've heard the most so far. So,
yeah, I mean, if you could sort of make anything happen, obviously maybe you could even throw the Pelicans in there because that would mean Zion has become like the demigod that we all think he could be, right? So
I still think that's too early, but I do hear you because you know what? You could flip, yeah, because you got CJ versus Dame. So I think that would be a decent little matchup. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying if you could choose just out of everybody. I
hear that. Yeah, no, I feel you on that. And then also the Lakers are still kind of factored in because part of our team is on that squad still. So I do hear you. And the Pelicans are pretty deep too. So we did just dog walk the Pelicans. So I that could be a little tough, but they could still beat us in the playoffs. That's not.
You know what? I take back my answer. I want the Spurs and the Pistons in the finals. If I could I get to pick anything. I own the power.
I guess you don't want a entertaining matchup then, I guess.
Are you kidding me? That would be hysterical. Watching Killian Hayes on the biggest stage, that would be bloopers.
These strays, that is crazy. Wow.
I don't know how. Listen, we're not going to turn this into a Killian Hayes
I'm about to say, look, man, he got drafted number 7 2 years ago. They're trying to give him a final shot. If he doesn't make it work this season, I wholeheartedly believe Jaden Ivey starts next year going forward. Because, again, that's their point guard or possible point guard, or at least combo guard of the future. That's at least what they drafted him to be. Same with Killian Hayes. And I did like Killian Hayes coming out of France, I want to say. I thought he reminded me a little bit of Tony Parker from a quickness standpoint, not game, just a quickness standpoint. But he wasn't able to make it work. So I think maybe another team come off the bench, earn your minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the role for Killian Hayes next year. But
or hear me out. You get Dwight Howard to make another video. Be like, Killian Hayes, come on. come down to where was he playing? Thailand? Like,
yo, he's not that bad, I don't think. But at the same time, they were
better
drawing
learn
comparisons
Chinese,
between
Killian
him and
Hayes.
Scoot. They like one of my this group chat I'm in, they were talking about Scoot and Killian Hayes and how it's like, oh, this on this particular night is going to be a battle of the trash matchup or something like that. I'm like, that's terrible, bro. Like, we got to do better than that.
One of them's a
like,
rookie. The other one's had 5 years to figure it out. Like that.
5 years is aggressive. Oh, it's only been 2. It's only been 2. You got. He's still young. He's still young.
In the league for 2. It feels like a decade.
I'm crying. Hey, we gotta. Hey, Killian, as you can see, I tried, my boy. I tried. But look, Nick, I greatly appreciate you, my guy. This is definitely a good conversation per usual. We have you back on the show again. If y'all haven't noticed, Nick's up here probably weekly at this point in time. So, but do you have anything you want to say before we close up shop, Nick?
No, other than I'm Killian. I'm sorry. Listen, I gotta say what I see. I'm sure you're a great person. I'm sorry. Please don't break down my house.
Killian, he was trying to kill you with them jokes, dog.
I'm sorry.
That's all I'm saying. That's what I peeped. But Nick, I greatly appreciate you for your time, man. Thank you so much. Like I said, we'll have you back on. Ladies and gentlemen, please like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all have a good one. Take care.
I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.